Hey, welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, Ghana's Eurobond debt to reduce drastically to between $7 billion and $9 billion from the present $13.1 billion if the bondholders accept a haircut of between 30 and 40%. Also, Controller and Accountant General in final stages of adding all state-owned assets to government national accounts. We'll tell you why. And manufacturing exporting companies bemoan the exchange rate regime, indicating it is increasing the cost of operations. Details coming up. A great good morning to you. Hello to our friends listening from Koforidua on KTU Radio. My name is Darryl Kwan. First up, Ghana's Eurobond debt will reduce drastically to between $7 billion and $9 billion from $13.1 billion if the bondholders accept a haircut of between 30 and 40%. Subsequently, interest payments will be estimated at between $460 million and $390 million annually for the next 20 years. Speaking to Joy Business, Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University in the U.S., Williams Pepper said this will give the government some fiscal space to undertake other critical projects in the economy.
If we are able to attain a 30 to 40% haircut on the 13.1 billion, the Eurobond debt will reduce drastically to between 9 billion to 7 billion. And this, in respect, is going to reduce the interest payments for the next 20 years between the ranges of 460 million a year, 390 million US dollars in a year. So this means that we will be able to have enough room to plan. And it is going to reduce our debt burden so that we'll be able to achieve the GDP to debt ratio that we have all been envisaging to achieve.
You had Williams Repart there, Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University in the U.S. The Controller and Accountant General is expecting more state-owned enterprises to add their assets to the national accounts to improve the balance sheet. This process, which is part of moves by the Accountant General's Department to have a clearer picture of government assets, has received some positive response from the State Interest and Governance Authority. Speaking to Joy Business at a media forum in Accra, Deputy Controller at the Accountant General's Department, Mark Effort Adade, said this move is the best to tell the state of the country's national account.
So for 2022 annual accounts, we've been able to bring a number of assets into government balance sheet. So the expectation is that by the end of 2023, we'll do more of this. So the balance sheet of Ghana can look better than what it is right now. So basically, that's what we are doing. And SOEs too are on board. What the SOEs are also doing is we are able to consolidate their asset base as part of Government of Ghana asset, which we didn't used to do. So again, these huge assets owned by SOEs were also not on government balance sheet. So by bringing the SOEs onto the national account, we also have the opportunity to add their asset to government assets. So the picture is looking better now than it used to be. So you see all MDA's assets on the balance sheet, all MMDA assets on the balance sheet, and all state-owned enterprises assets on the balance sheet. So of course, it's looking better than it used to be. So the expectation is that all public entities and stakeholders will cooperate with us to get this really done very well. So when you see the balance sheet of Ghana, we'll all be happy with it.
Deputy Controller at the Accountant General's Department, Mark Effort Adade. Now, some manufacturing exporting companies are still concerned about the exchange rate regime, indicating it is increasing their cost of operations. The cedi in recent months has been stable, but these exporters say it is not reflecting in their operations. According to management accountant at Gilson Manufacturing Company, Emmanuel Kosa, most exporting companies incur losses due to the hikes in taxes and tariffs, which he describes as killing the private sector. He spoke to Joy Business at the National Customer Choice Awards, Ghana.
When we export, we expect that returns will come in quickly and in foreign exchange, but we have a few challenges there, and sometimes it delays a bit, and then we have to import all our most of our raw materials. They are very costly. Looking at the economic situation, prices go up and things. So yes, because our imports the cost of the imports keep increasing, so it affects us.
You had Emmanuel Kosa, who is management accountant at Gilson Manufacturing Company. The wife of the Vice President, Samira Baumia, is calling for more collaboration between the Energy Commission and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to leverage usage of renewable energy sources in agriculture. According to her, the time has come for the country to move away from the traditional way of producing food. She was speaking at the grand finale of the Renewable Energy Challenge by the Energy Commission, won by Sogakope Senior High.
It will be an excellent opportunity to bridge the gap between the ideas presented here and the real-world application for the benefit of our farmers and the nation. We must seize the opportunity to use renewable energy technologies to transform the way we cultivate, harvest, and process our agricultural products, making these processes more sustainable, efficient, and eco-friendly.
You had Samira Baumia, who is wife of the Vice President. Sogakope Senior High, the school that won the Renewable Energy Challenge, won a cash prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis. Also received solar PVC systems amongst other prizes. Now let's turn to some other stories for you. The Chartered Institute of Bankers is urging banks to increase loans to micro, small and medium enterprises since they have high growth opportunities and returns. It therefore wants banks to adopt the right approach in banking them. Now, some banks have consistently shied away from the MSME sector because of their high risk of defaulting. But speaking at a recent thought leadership program, Chief Executive Robert Jattu said the MSME sector, when properly harnessed, can contribute significantly to job creation and tax revenue.
Beyond giving a threshold turnover, the definition approach at the moment ignores the impact of inflation and currency fluctuations, which we are quite used to in our market. It's also the case that MSMEs, in our view, portend high growth opportunity and high return, which means they are viable segments if we get the right approach to banking them. In other words, they could be, or they present a viable investment destination for capital allocation from where we sit. But there's also the desirability. So the desirability of banking the SMEs is not in doubt. And so the viability is also not in doubt. What is in doubt right now is the feasibility. How we crack that feasibility code is important.
You had Robert Jattu, who is CEO of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. The increase in usage of smartphones, high-speed internet, and the digitization of the economy means Ghana needs a talent base with skills to support this infrastructure. Entrepreneur Richard Brandt is leading the way, training young people to become world-class software developers to meet the needs of a digital economy. Today on the Joy Business Van, we visit Code Train, the coding school he set up to train young people. Take a listen.
Welcome to Code Train.
Hi, Richard. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I can see school is in session.
Yes, we have students reviewing their projects with their teachers today.
Code Train was started by software developer Richard Brandt.
So the idea of Code Train started when I was working as a consultant, as a software developer, and it got to a point I needed interns in the company. So I selected a group of students from the universities, and I realized that most of them didn't have the skills, required for them to actually contribute. And but they were good enough, they were smart, they had the theoretical skills, but then you couldn't really use them.
Richard decided to train his interns to become skilled software and app developers, and more young people began to approach him for similar training. It was then he thought he could start a school to extend the opportunity to others.
All right, you make a date, 1 p.m. right after the Joy Business Report, 5 p.m. on Business Live on the Joy News channel. Before we go, let's check the markets for you. This morning, the dollar going for 11 cedis, 85 pesos on the Forex or retail market. The pound going for 14 cedis, 53 pesos. The euro going for 12 cedis, 53 pesos on the commodity market. Crude oil going up to $91 a barrel. From yesterday's trading, gold increased by more than $15 to open trading at $1,939 an ounce. Cocoa selling at $3,635 a ton after gaining $44 from yesterday's trading. More news on our website, myjoyline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for doing the listening, and it's back to Winston with more of the Super Morning Show. we're keeping our eyes on crude oil, $91 a barrel this morning. Yeah,
it's going up.
So
in the second pricing window of the month, there's been I've seen a reduction.
A reduction.
Yes, but
let's see how this goes.
The pricing is not encouraging. I mean, the price of crude oil on the world market.
Let's pray for a swift resolution to the issue.
Yes, we have to.
Gaza crisis.